my rarest catch, in the most unlikely place. This is a story about why the Azores were so special for me growing up, and why this is a day I will never forget. I've been going to the Azores since I was 7. This is where I started spearfishing, and this is also why my connection with the ocean is so strong today. This is where I got to spend all my summers, completely disconnected from the outside world, where I got to enjoy the little and sometimes not so smart things in life. The islands are gorgeous, all of them, and I believe this lifestyle played a major role in shaping who I am today. This is where I learned about all kinds of fishing, filming underwater, and of course, spearfishing, my biggest passion. All of this time, I stayed with a local family, Elder and Beta, the best voice in Santa Cruz. With Elder, I was introduced to the beauty of the traditional fishing lifestyle, and I spent days and nights at sea with him and his brother Ricardo. We called him Rex though. As the years went by, I saw their kids growing up, and I've always felt a part of the family. And this is what brings us to our story, 20 years after this photo was taken. This was a very special day and a little bit of a travel back in time to take Gonçalo and Martin after spending pretty much every summer in the Azores with Elder, who is a very special person. I have many good memories fishing in the Azores with him. So to take his kids to go spearfish for the first time, this was going to be a very special day. The conditions were amazing. We drove south to this very cool pinnacle that I've been spearfishing for at least 20 years. And here you can find a lot of the iconic species you can see in the Azores. There's usually big schools of barracudas hanging around mid-water, sometimes big schools of trevallies. There's also bluefish, groupers on the bottom, and if you're lucky, you can see the big amberjacks, which are, I would say, the main target when we dive here. And in this day the conditions were beautiful, great visibility, and it didn't take long for us to find one of these schools. And it was mostly almacos, and I didn't see anything big, so I decided to get a 15 kilos fish. It was very cool to have Gonçalo in the water next to me. We dispatched the fish quickly and gave it to Martin, who was on the boat. And then I decided to go to a shallow bay. And here the goal was for them to have their turn at shooting some fish. We jumped in the water. It was around 10 meters. There was a bit of life around, some triggerfish, which were going to be our goal. And there was this big rock. And I remember seeing like just a shadow going underneath the rock, and at the time I thought it was a snapper. We called them pargo legítimo. So I just told the kids, like, don't move, and I decided to dive on the blind spot, right? So the fish went under the rock and I dove on the other side, and my goal was to sneak upon him. And when I looked below, the snapper wasn't there, and it was actually a gourache. It's a black spot bream swimming away from me, and I couldn't believe, like, this fish was not supposed to be there. You never expect to see gourache while spearfishing, but in fishing though, we do get them, but usually no less than 200 meters, and they can go all the way down to 700 meters deep. And now, funny enough, I actually shot a gourache 15 years before this, and that ended up being my first article for a magazine. At the time I called it an impossible fish, due to how unlikely we are to find them while spearfishing. But back to our story. I chased it a little bit, extended just as the fish was swimming away, and I hit it on the cheek, which is not a great shot. The fish started twisting around, and you could see it opening a hole. So I let the spear gun go, I grabbed him, and I came up to the surface, and I couldn't believe. This is one of the beauties of spearfishing. You just never know what you're gonna find. What are the odds of landing this once-in-a-lifetime fish yet again on the first day that I go out with these kids, after getting one myself when I was their age, staying with their father? The kids also got their triggerfish, and this ended up being such a special day for me, you know? Sharing these experiences with the kids
Even on the little things like getting the boat out of the water, taking care of the fish at the end of the day, always laughing and messing around. This is what I used to do when I was their age. So to now go full circle and with this very special catch as a cherry on top, this was such a meaningful day. But it was actually just the beginning though, of a few very special weeks. Spearfishing in all kinds of conditions and exploring different islands with my best friends, where I had some of the craziest wildlife encounters of my life, like this oceanic manta ray that was the friendliest I've ever seen, or trying to help out this giant sunfish by cleaning the barnacles off his mouth. These are just a few of the very special moments we have coming in the next episodes.